The music industry is no stranger to controversy, but the latest revelations surrounding the personal lives of some of its biggest stars have left fans and critics alike reeling. What a shocking turn of events. A$AP Rocky has come forward to not only back Kendrick Lamar's explosive allegations against Drake, but also to expose the harrowing details of how the God's Plan rapper allegedly brutalized and traumatized the iconic Rihanna. This explosive story has sent shockwaves through the entertainment world, with fans and media outlets scrambling to uncover the truth behind these disturbing claims. As we delve deeper into the heart-wrenching details, one thing becomes clear: the lives of these celebrated artists have been marred by a darkness that few could have imagined. Join us as we unravel the shocking truth and witness the courage of those who have chosen to speak out against the abuses of power and the betrayal of trust within the music industry. This is a story that will leave you captivated, outraged, and ultimately questioning the very foundations of the world we thought we knew. In a recent exclusive interview, A$AP Rocky has come forward to lend his support to Kendrick Lamar's explosive allegations against Drake. The two rappers, who have long been considered rivals in the industry, have now found common ground in their shared experiences of witnessing the alleged mistreatment of Rihanna at the hands of the Hotline Bling artist. "I've been silent for too long," Rocky said, his voice trembling with emotion. "I've seen first in the way Drake has treated Rihanna, and it's something that has haunted me for years. When Kendrick came forward with his allegations, I knew I had to speak up and back him up. The world needs to know the truth about what this man has done." According to Rocky, the abuse and trauma inflicted upon Rihanna by Drake was not only physical, but also psychological. He would belittle her, manipulate her, and make her feel like she was nothing without him. Rocky revealed, his eyes filled with a mixture of anger and sorrow. The way he would talk to her, the way he would treat her, it was absolutely sickening. Rocky went on to describe instances where he had witnessed Drake becoming physically violent with Rihanna, often in public settings. I remember one time we were all at a party and Drake just snapped. He started yelling at Rihanna, calling her names, and then he grabbed her and shoved her against the wall. I thought he was going to kill her right there. The harrowing details shared by A$AP Rocky have only served to amplify the gravity of Kendrick Lamar's allegations, which have already sent shockwaves through the music industry. As the world grapples with these disturbing revelations, the question on everyone's mind is, what will the consequences be for Drake, and will justice be served for the victims of his alleged abuse? In a recent interview, Kendrick Lamar made a series of explosive allegations against fellow rapper Drake, accusing him of a pattern of abusive and manipulative behavior towards women, particularly his ex-girlfriend Rihanna. Drake has a long history of mistreating and abusing the women in his life. Lamar stated, his voice laced with a palpable sense of anger and disgust. "He's a predator, plain and simple, and he's been getting away with it for far too long." According to Lamar, Drake's abuse of Rihanna was not only physical but also psychological, with the rapper allegedly using a combination of emotional manipulation, gaslighting, and outright violence to control and terrorize his former partner. He would constantly belittle her, make her feel worthless, and then turn around and shower her with gifts and affection, only to abuse her again. Lamar said, "It was a vicious cycle of power and control, and Rihanna was trapped in it for years." Lamar went on to describe instances where he had witnessed Drake becoming physically violent with Rihanna, often in public settings. I remember one time we were all at a party and Drake just snapped. He started yelling at Rihanna, calling her names, and then he grabbed her and shoved her against the wall. I thought he was going to kill her right there. The allegations made by Lamar are not only deeply disturbing, but also raise serious questions about the music industry's complicity in enabling such abusive behavior. Drake has been able to get away with this for so long because the industry has protected him, Lamar said. They've turned a blind eye to his actions, and they've allowed him to continue to abuse and manipulate the women in his life. As the world grapples with these shocking revelations, the question on everyone's mind is will Drake be held accountable for his alleged actions? And will justice be served for the victims of his abuse? In the wake of the explosive allegations made by A$AP Rocky and Kendrick Lamar, the spotlight has now turned to Rihanna, the woman at the center of this harrowing saga. For years, the iconic singer has remained silent about the abuse she allegedly suffered at the hands of her former partner, Drake, but now her story is finally being told. According to sources close to Rihanna, the abuse she endured during her relationship with Drake was not only physical, but also deeply psychological. He would constantly belittle her, make her feel worthless, and then turn around and shower her with gifts and affection, only to abuse her again. One source revealed, speaking on the condition of anonymity, The sources describe a pattern of behavior that involved Drake using a combination of emotional manipulation, gaslighting, and outright violence to control and terrorize Rihanna. He would get angry over the smallest things, and then he would lash out at her both verbally and physically. Her source said it was a vicious cycle that left Rihanna feeling trapped and helpless. The sources also allege that Drake's abuse of Rihanna often took place in public settings, with the rapper seemingly unconcerned about the consequences of his actions. There were times when he would just snap and he wouldn't care who was around. The source said he would grab her, shove her, and even hit her, all while everyone else just stood by and watched, too afraid to intervene. The trauma that Rihanna has endured as a result of this alleged abuse has been immense, with the sources describing the singer as being deeply scarred by her experiences. She's been in therapy for years trying to work through the emotional and psychological damage that Drake has inflicted upon her. The source said, it's been a long and painful process, but she's determined to reclaim her life and her power. As the world grapples with these disturbing revelations, the question on everyone's mind is, will Rihanna finally find the justice and closure she deserves, or will the music industry continue to protect those who have abused their power and betrayed the trust of their fans? Explosive allegations made by A$AP Rocky, Kendrick Lamar, and the sources close to Rihanna have not only shaken the music industry to its core, but have also raised serious questions about the industry's complicity in enabling the abuse and mistreatment of women. According to industry insiders, the music industry has long been a breeding ground for toxic and abusive behavior, with powerful artists and executives often using their influence and resources to exploit and control the women in their lives. The industry has a long history of turning a blind eye to the abuse and mistreatment of women. One insider revealed, speaking on the condition of anonymity, they've prioritized profits and public image over the safety and well-being of the artists and employees who make the industry run. This complicity has manifested in a variety of ways, from the industry's reluctance to hold abusive artists accountable for their actions to the way in which the industry has actively worked to silence and discredit the victims of. There have been so many cases over the years where the industry has rallied around the abuser rather than the victim. The insider said, they'll do everything in their power to protect the artist's reputation and keep the story out of the public eye, even if it means sacrificing the victim's well-being. The sources also allege that the industry's complicity in enabling abuse extends beyond the artists themselves, with executives and other industry professionals often being complicit in the mistreatment of women. It's not just the artists who are the problem. The insider said there are executives, managers, and other industry professionals who have been aware of the abuse and have done nothing to stop it. They're just as culpable as the abusers themselves. As the world grapples with the revelations surrounding Drake, Rihanna, and the broader culture of abuse within the music industry, the question on everyone's mind is, will the industry finally be forced to confront its own demon? Or will it continue to prioritize profits and public image over the safety and well-being of the women who make the industry run? The explosive revelations surrounding Drake's alleged abuse of Rihanna have sent shockwaves through the music industry, with fans, critics, and industry insiders alike demanding accountability and justice for the victims of this harrowing saga. And in the wake of the allegations made by A$AP Rocky and Kendrick Lamar, Drake has remained largely silent, with his representatives issuing a brief statement denying the claims and dismissing them as baseless rumors. However, the weight of the evidence and the credibility of the sources who have come forward have made it increasingly difficult for Drake to maintain his innocence. As the public outcry continues to grow, the pressure on the industry to take action has become increasingly intense. This is a moment of reckoning for the music industry. One industry insider said they can no longer turn a blind eye to the abuse and mistreatment of women. They have to hold these abusers accountable, and they have to do it in a way that sends a clear message that this kind of behavior will not be tolerated. The calls for accountability have taken on a variety of forms, with some fans and critics demanding that Drake be stripped of his awards and accolades, while others have called for a boycott of his music and live performances. The industry has to send a clear message that this kind of behavior is unacceptable. Another insider said they have to show that there are real consequences for abusing your power and betraying the trust of your fans. As the industry grapples with the fallout from these revelations, the focus has also turned to the broader culture of abuse and misogyny that has long permeated the music industry. Many are calling for sweeping reforms and a fundamental shift in the way the industry operates, with a renewed emphasis on the safety and well-being of the artists and employees who make the industry run. This is about more than just Drake and Rihanna, one fan said. This is about the entire industry and the way it has failed to protect the women who are the lifeblood of this business. It's time for a reckoning, and it's time for real change. As the world watches and waits to see how the industry will respond to these allegations, the question on everyone's mind is, will justice be served, and will the music industry finally be forced to confront its own demons?